And well, last episode I took over as Hansi Flick at Barcelona, in which this goal from Fede Valverde saw us lose the first El Clasico of the season, just like they did in real life. But that game spurred us on, going into the rest of the games in the episode. A 2-0 victory here over Elche, as you'll see, as we scored the first goal there. Rashford then played through by Fermin Lopez to score the first goal, and Rashford here would make it 2-0 and get us the 3 points up against Elche. It was then Bilbao here, in which Pedri found space and a foul in the back of the net with a great finisher from the Spaniard. We then played through Lewandowski, who returned from injury just before this game, and Lewandowski showed who he is. As you can see, age is just a number for Lewandowski as he ran through and scored. He then gets the assist for Lamine Yamal to get the third goal of the game. Pedri then would score an absolute rocket to make it 4-0 right there. Then one more goal would be scored as Yamal would play through Rashford off the bench, would find the back of the net and make it 5-0 here and get the 3 points. It was then the same up against Real Betis, where Rafinha would score the first goal of the game to open the scoring. And as you can see, some great link-up play between De Jong and Lewandowski would score to get the second and get the 3 points in that one. Let's get into today's episode. And for the first game of today's episode, we're going to take on Villarreal. They're currently third in the table, and we're going to take the one away from home. For this, we're going to start our strongest 11. I can see Dani Olmo in the camera. A player that we possibly might be selling so we can play Fermin Lopez in the camera throughout this series and buy a backup player for him in the squad. So Gavi is still injured, so actually he could be the backup cam to Fermin. So he can rotate between midfield and centre mid and also cam as well. But when he's back from injury, we're going to give him a bunch of game time. To stay, we're going to sell in today's episode, and also Christensen, I might swap as he's not going to sign a new contract here with us in the series. So we're going to let him go and bring in a new player for him so he doesn't go on a free transfer. We also might be letting go Lewandowski in today's episode. Let's get into this one though, up against Villarreal for the first game of the episode and hopefully beat them here. Continue our winning ways after, well, we lost the El Clasico in our first game in the series, but since then we've been unstoppable after that loss. Frankie de Jong steals it off him though. And ball forward here, Dani Olmo through the centre into Lewandowski. Could be a quick start here for us. Lewandowski open to scoring inside the first 2.5 minutes here. Daniel Parejo caught on the ball by Frankie de Jong, and a quick counter from kickoff. And Dani Olmo with the assist. That's the thing, Dani Olmo is a fantastic player in this game. Great play size. He's got finesse shot, he's got incisive, great stats. So if we do sell him, it would be a big player to lose. But as we saw last episode, Fermin Lopez is more than capable of taking over that position. Like I said, we've got Gavi as a backup. If Gavi doesn't work out as a backup cam, we can sign a backup cam for Fermin Lopez at some point, or find one through the Youth Academy, as we are looking for Youth Academy players in the series. And Lewandowski here scores, maybe for the final time in a Barcelona shirt, as we might be selling him or using him in the swap deal in January when that comes around after this game. As today's episode, as you saw by the title and thumbnail, is when we look to make some big signings. Since we won up, we've not been able to get a second, which I was hoping we could do fairly quickly after getting the first. But here we go. Rafinha over the top looking for Lewandowski. And Lewandowski can take it down and shoot. And that's 2-0. As I was just saying, we haven't scored a second. We get a second. And it's Robert Lewandowski at the double. I mean, he's 88 rated. What is he, 38? Around like he's, well, mid-30s, if not late 30s, if I'm not mistaken. Lewandowski. And he would be a great player for us to keep in the team for the rest of the season. But if we can make the signing, or like Julian Alvarez is a player that I want to bring in for the striker role. But right now, he is very, very expensive. And if we want to make transfers we want to make for the rest of the team, we might not be able to make the Julian Alvarez signing this season. I'll try and do it. I mean, we'd have to sell, Dani Olmo to make that transfer happen, and obviously try and use Lewandowski in a swap deal as well in that deal. This and decided did it with Griezmann and obviously Luis Suarez changing places all these years ago. Cardona, there shows Koundé, good defender from him. And Lewandowski is looking for the hat trick here, and Lewandowski is through. And could this be a hat trick for Lewandowski inside 22 minutes? What a submarine has been sank. That is Villarreal. Obviously their nickname is the Yellow Submarine. 3 torpedoes from Lewandowski have sank them inside 22 minutes. I was not expecting this. This is what I said in the intro. Since we lost to Real Madrid, we have been unstoppable since then. That loss and that poor performance saw us switch to these tactics and saw us level up our game. And that's going to be the rest of the game. We're going to sim a 3-0 lead at half time, and we're going to sim this one. And what performance it was. Lewandowski with a hat-trick inside the first half. And we're going to sim to the end, and it ends up being a 3-0 victory with no more goals in the game. But what a way to start the episode off with that from Lewandowski. And that is a big talking point maybe we should keep him for the rest of the season and then sign Julian Alvarez next season. That could be what we do. If I can't make the signing this season, I'll make it next season. That's what we're going to do. And becoming our first signing here of this window is Thomas Araujo. We have also brought in Rashford on a permanent deal as for 18.5 million. We're signing Araujo for 30 million from Benfica. The 23-year-old, 78 rated Portuguese defender can also play right back as well. Is a very, very good talent who can be a great first team player. If we do so with Araujo, Thomas Araujo will be the player to replace him in the team. If he doesn't work out at centre back, we can put him to right back and obviously put Kunde at centre back as well. But Araujo joins us here for 30 million from Benfica to be a big talent for us to develop in this team. And well, as you can see, some big changes have happened there at Barcelona. We have made some big sales there. Dani Olmo's release clause got picked up by Arsenal. He's got picked up there for 130 million. Basically, when the release clause gets hit in this game due to the contract situation and the way it works in this game, you can't give a new contract to a player unless they want a new contract. So, Dani Olmo said he wanted to leave, so I said, well, 130 million is a lot of money, and we need the money to bring in new players. Araujo got picked up by Liverpool. I said, give me 60 million. That was the lowest offer I was going to accept for him because he's a very, very good defender. I didn't want to sell for less than 60. They accepted it, and he's now headed over there to play with obviously Van Dijk and Konate, who's most likely going to go to Real Madrid. The Stegen, as we know, left to go to Leverkusen. We brought in Araujo, and we brought in Rashford, and also Paredes, by the way. You might be wondering why this is 230k for a 78 rate defender from Bilbao. That is because in this transfer we have swapped Christensen to them, plus 230k to bring Aitor Paredes in as a backup defender for us in the squad. As you can see by his stats, pretty good defensively. And 25 years of age, 6'1", Spanish, a decent player, that we can bring into the team. And as you'll see by the squad, we need to make some big changes here in a second and make some massive signings. But in terms of the first 11 now, Araujo comes into the first team, and obviously, where is Paredes? There he is. We need to sign another player here. Well, Gavi, when he's back from injury, will go there. We need to bring in Julian Alvarez into the team as we now have the money to do so, and with a swap deal with Lewandowski possibly as well, we could get that done that way. But the team hasn't gone for a massive change. Obviously, no Dani Olmo and no Araujo, but obviously Thomas Araujo now joined us, as well as Paredes as a backup centre back who looks pretty good. As you can see by his stats right there, with the rapid play style as well, is pretty decent to have on his centre back. And a precision header, that's not rapid, precision header on him as well. You just to see it. Let's get back into the transfer window. Maybe bring in Julian Alvarez if it's possible, and obviously then bring in a player or two for the bench, depending on the money that we have elsewhere. But before we make those transfers, it's a 5-3 victory here away from Rafinha, Pedri, and Lewandowski again on the score sheet in this one to get a 5-3 victory in the 3 points against Espanyol here away from home. And well, for 95 million plus Lewandowski headed to Atletico Madrid, we have brought Julian Alvarez into the squad. So Lewandowski played at Barca, looking to let go of it in real life on a free transfer, and we decided to give him a new contract in this one and use him as a paperweight, a swap deal in here to bring Julian Alvarez into the club. 87 rated, 25 years of age, a perfect player for Barcelona in my opinion. I miss him at Man City massively. He's been doing great things for Atletico Madrid, but obviously he could be headed to Barcelona next season as a new striker, and I could see that happening. But Alvarez is our new number 9 up front and should be a fantastic player for us in this team. Obviously letting go of Lewandowski is massive for us, but bringing in a player of Alvarez's quality, and we still have 95 million to spend on new transfers. So let's get into that and bring in some more players to improve this team. And signing from Juventus is the Turkish talent Kenan Yildiz, who's going to be playing as a backup left mid or a cam in this team, or possibly a right mid as well. Could probably do a job as a striker as well. He's a very, very versatile player, and he's played at Barcelona, have been linked with IRL recently as Juventus, or can they go in a weird patch of form? They were looking pretty good, now they're looking pretty bad again, and Kenan Yildiz is one of the best players, and being linked to a team like Barcelona, it's very possible he could join them. But Yildiz here signs for us for 47 million to be a rotation player for us in the team, and a very, very good one at that. And also due to the links in real life, Heung-min Son's now being signed for us for 19 million. In real life, they're looking to sign him on that Beckham rule for the 6-month loan to bring him in after joining the MLS offseason, and he can play for other leagues and would be a great player for Barcelona to bring him for the experience. We're going to bring him here for 19 million, the 33-year-old, 83 rated left mid, left wing and striker. Obviously finesse shot plus play style as well. We've a very, very good player for us to have in this team. When I thought about this, I thought, why not make it happen and be a final signing of this window, and he'd be a fantastic player for us in this team throughout the series. And more, there's no rest to the wicked, and our new signings get their debuts here straight away in the semi-finals of the SuperCopa against Bilbao. So we beat them fairly comfortably last episode, but Julian Alvarez and Araujo now into the team, replacing Ronald Araujo at centre-back, obviously bringing in a new Araujo into the team. It's kind of funny to do so that we literally got rid of one and brought in another. Obviously the likes of Heung-min Son joiners, Kenan Yildiz and Paredes as well as great backup players for the team. I see Yildiz is going to be played we're going to develop for the future. Son is a player we're going to keep for the rest of the season. We could sell him next season. I've got 6 million release clause and 50 million release clause on his contract. But that's a Yildiz, Paredes, and obviously some of the more important players, the likes of Alvarez and Araujo. I didn't put release clauses on them because I felt like I didn't want to let them go. So the way release clauses work in this game is you can't really put release clauses that are like massive. You have to put one that's around their market value, which doesn't really make sense because a release clause is meant to be a bigger fee that you can get for a player. Now, if they don't want to go through the club, they can just pay the fee and get them. That's why Barcelona have like £1 billion release clause on like Lamine Yamal or something like that. So that's why that's there. So they can't do that. So they have to then go through the club, and obviously Yamal's a player they're not going to sell unless something happens in the future where he wants to leave. But let's get into this one though, and hopefully Araujo and Alvarez can make great impressions on their debuts here. And also the likes of Son and Yildiz will get time to play in this one as well. Play Adama, who plays on the wing. Gudezeta, there's Kabasi, 85 rated now in this team. So you've signed their more former defender now in Paredes. He's now a backup player for us in the team, 78 rated. You guys, this suggests Umar Saleh as a player we could sign, but I felt like Paredes was a bit more realistic being Spanish and playing for Bilbao. Kind of made sense to swap him for Christensen and Rafinha. Or Bilbao, I've learned a lesson from last time I faced them because they're looking better defensively here, but Christensen, our former player, blocks us. And here now he gets it free to Fermin Lopez, he shoots, and Nunes moments to save. It comes to Yamal, he tried to play it across the box. I believe it was that game against Bilbao where he scored 2 incredible goals, especially the second one. You probably saw in the intro. Here's Yamal though. Finesse shot from him, straight into the gusto of Unai Simon. We have been a better team in this game. They've not had anything to do going forward, but we haven't managed to score. Yamal. For Alvarez. Alvarez now at number 9. So he used to be the number 9 at River Plate. Fermin flicks it inside. That's a great move from him. It actually worked out and he scores. And Fermin Lopez, just before the half-time break, the last kick of the game, well, the last kick of the half, scores for us in the semi-final of the SuperCopa. That flick inside I didn't expect to work. I just tried it because I thought, you know what, there's a chance it could work out. And I believe Alvarez gets the assist. He's got 14 goals and 5 assists, by the way, before he joined us. So we need to keep an eye on that one. He's now got 1 assist for us. Basically, from now he's joined us, we've got to keep track of the goals he's got for us and basically take away 14 goals and 5 assists at the end of the season, depending to see how he performed for us and overall as a season, basically, you know what I mean. But Fermin Lopez here scores to show that letting go of Olmo for 130 million was not a mistake, that he can take over this team and be a fantastic player for us in that cam role. Regrettably not joining Barcelona now, in a way, because I believe they're 8th in real life, if not somewhere around there. Rafinha towards hitting Alvarez. He's inside Alvarez for his first goal in Barcelona colours, and Alvarez, there we go. The Spider scores for us. I believe it's something like that is called for Atletico Madrid. I can't remember what it's actually called in Spanish. I used to know it, but I forgot it now. I'll have to look it up after the episode. But Julian Alvarez scores his first goal, a goal and an assist on his debut in the SuperCopa, proving to be worth the 95 million plus letting go Lewandowski to Atletico Madrid to bring him into the team. And what a play he shows he could be for us in this team. It should be incredible for us in that striker role. We're planning to do 2 seasons, by the way, here at Barcelona, because obviously this season we might have to win LaLiga, and the Champions League will be a challenge for us to win. So 2 seasons here. We're going to try and win the treble at one point with this team. That is the main plan, obviously win the Copa del Rey, the Champions League, and the Champions League in 1 season. That's hopefully season 2. Back to Pedri. Fermin to Rafinha. And Rafinha inside to find Alvarez for a second time, and Alvarez is denied by a great save by Rini Bargi, who we also brought on. Here it is. Son, back to Rini Bargi, the young Swedishman, trying to get free, but Christensen stops him. Here it is. Fran Torres in here to Son, who's obviously playing as a false 9, so we can link up play. There's Fran Torres though. Back here to Bernal, hits it, and Bernal denied by Unai Simon. I'm surprised Unai Simon didn't save that. If that was Son, that would have been a goal, I do feel like, with a finesse shot plus. But not a bad effort from Bernal there. And that's the end of the game. A 2-0 victory, a clean sheet on Araujo's debut at centre-back. Alvarez with two goal involvements, a goal and an assist. And overall a fantastic performance from this team. We're through to the final of the SuperCopa, which takes place, well, next up. That's the next game, if I'm not mistaken. It's in a few days' time. That'll be the next game we get to see, and hopefully can win our first trophy as Barcelona manager here. Well, taking over with Hansi Flick's team as Barcelona manager here to win the SuperCopa. Let's get into the final and hopefully beat either Atletico Madrid or Real Madrid in the final to lift the SuperCopa. And well, it's time to try and get revenge for the loss in El Clasico earlier in the season here against Real Madrid in the SuperCopa final. Let's get into this one and hopefully see Frenkie de Jong lift the SuperCopa here in this episode. 2 shots. Jamal now. Going to get that into the box, looking for Alvarez, who might be able to win the header. It's cleared. Fermin. Pedri. Back to Fermin Lopez, who can hit them. And it's saved by Courtois. Barca in that game. Saying that he would leave the team and just throwing a tantrum, basically. Fede Valverde. Ardagula to Mbappe. There we go. Jules Koundé. Speaking of debuts, by the way, and like big games to come in, literally signed for Barcelona and then inside the same week, you're facing Real Madrid in the cup final for Julian Alvarez, and also for Araujo at centre back. See, Alvarez is made for games like this, and that was meant for Fermin. And Araujo is looking to prove himself in a game like this. Already wins it back though. It's feeling very similar. The first half we were much the better team against Madrid, and then in the second half they got a goal, and they could get a goal here. Vinny Jr. running through, blocked by Kabasi, but it's back to him, and Kabasi does well. Fermin, Alvarez, here we go, Yamal. Being tracked down though, but Yamal should have the space and the time to get a shot away. Yamal hits it, and Yamal puts it wide. Forcing Courtois to make a save. Mbappe. Here's Araujo. Rafinha. Alvarez, if you can feed that through, lovely pass. Rafinha should be onside. So when Alvarez would have moved inside there, but he went down the outside. Why did he do that, man? What I prefer for us to have, but maybe extra time. Ball over the top, that's great play. Yamal through to Alvarez. Can he score? Alvarez under pressure though. Alvarez doesn't break under pressure and scores. Again for his second goal for us in this competition, his second goal as a Barcelona player. That's 3 goal contributions for him now since coming in, and makes it 1-0 here. Yamal with the assist, a great ball over the top to find Julian Alvarez. Can imagine the link up those two would have in real life in the same team. That would be incredible to see those two play together. And Alvarez scores to make it 1-0 here. But now for that Madrid, we're going to get a goal of our own, because it's just one of those games where I just feel like Madrid are going to get one chance and score, and it'll be the first chance of the game to do so, and it will be rather frustrating for us. Well, since we're going, maybe I'll make changes pretty soon. Maybe I'm not too sure if I want to make changes now or if it goes to extra time or penalties, because obviously Human's so great at penalties. We need him on the pitch. De Jong. Fermin, ball through to Alvarez, and Alvarez perhaps looking to return a favour. Yamal's found space, and Yamal makes it 2-0. Lamine Yamal scores here to hopefully wrap up this game. I might even make him the captain. I mean, De Jong makes sense to be the captain of Barcelona, but to see Yamal lift the trophies, I mean, if we win the Champions League, I'll give it to Yamal. He'll be the captain for the Champions League final. Other games, it'll be De Jong. Alvarez does well there to find the space, find the pass into Yamal, who scores to make it 2-0. And those two are forming a great partnership up front. We should have to see. Kylian Mbappe. Madrid have had 0 shots in this game. Vinny Jr. But this could be one for them now. It won't be though, it might be actually. Valverde shoots, and John Garcia makes a save, but it falls back to Valverde, who thankfully puts it out of play. Now Yamal skips past Carreras. Lovely move there from him, and Yamal can knock it forward, but Rudy, he still has the pace though. That's the issue with him. He's not a slow defender. But Madrid might get a consolation goal here. Mbappe. Valverde. Araujo forces them backwards. Now it's going to be a 2-0 victory, a clean sheet back-to-back in the the SuperCopa final and semi-final here. Let's see Frenkie de Jong lift the trophy. And what a goals from Yamal and Julian Alvarez, obviously both getting the assists for each of us goals here is enough for us to beat Madrid here. And a great performance overall. We'll win the SuperCopa, our first trophy in this series, so you'll have to see it. And Frenkie de Jong, now the captain of the team, gets to stand up and step up and lift the trophy for Barca. A much deserved player to be the captain, I believe. He should be the captain I role, in my opinion, for everything he's done for Barcelona throughout his time there. He's a fan favourite. He lifts the SuperCopa here. That is not the end of today's episode. We're going to sim a bunch of games and hopefully get into maybe a Champions League game or two at the end of this one. So we'll play 2 games. Well, we've played 3 games already. The Villarreal one was an easy one. The Bilbao game we could have simmed as well. But the final here against Madrid was the biggest one. And we get to lift the SuperCopa here. And a world is a victory for us. in this final. And well, as you can see, since the Super Cup final, I decided to sim the rest of the games. You can see by the games we had some fairly easy games. I see Sociedad or a decent team. We're beating them 3-0 away from home now. And as you can see, our next game is going to be another El Clasico, our third win of the season in the Copa de España semi-finals. As you can see, the other semi-final is going to be Celta Vigo v Osasuna. So whoever wins this game between us and Real Madrid will most likely win the Copa del Rey this season against Celta or either Osasuna. Let's get into this one and hopefully win back-to-back El Clasicos in this episode. Yeah, Balde, etc. Alvarez, Fermin, got moved there by him. Fermin through to Frankie de Jong, the captain. But Correa's great defending there. Mbappe. I could be beside his brother as a backup player in the team. Not sure how much game time we would have though. Considering we've got Fermin, Gavi, Bernal, Casado, etc. Massantuono and the attack kid, the Argentinian, plays it through. See Valverde, who is onside, ball to the back post. Kunde does win the header and it actually goes back to Garcia there. Blocked by De Jong, back to Correas. It's felt very similar to the first game where we've had most of the chances in terms of goals, like a chance on goal to trying to get a chance, but we haven't managed to do so in this one. Yamal. Alvarez, back to Yamal here. I mean, despite having like a good amount of pace, it's not feel as quick in the game as I feel like he should do. With this pace, I suppose, Rafinha. Back here, Frankie de Jong trying to flick that through though, but it was blocked. Do whatever you need to do to stop him. Ball over the top. Yamal might be offside. We're going to take the free kick though, as Yamal was. Oh wait, I got given the advantage for the free kick, and I tried to, but the game did the offside. Why did I get the advantage then if that was offside? Surely the game should have been stopped there and then. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have been given the advantage. We could have found a little loophole there, but unfortunately it didn't work out. Oh, Tchouameni. Again, no, it's just a battle in midfield. Oh no, defender's pressing him. There we go, Rafinha. Across the box to Fermin Lopez. Fermin. He just overran it. He overran it there. That's so dry, and I pressed R2 slightly there to just get a little touch forward there, but again, we didn't take the biggest touch possible for no reason. Dreet. Rafinha. Lovely play here. Pedri, why didn't you pass it? You saw the power bug up. I should have passed it into Yamal. The game's holding me back. There's no reason that pass shouldn't have happened. But Alvarez through into Fermin, who scores just before the hour mark. We get our first shot and we score it with Fermin Lopez. Well, this is a big game for us here because, well, if we knock Madrid out of this competition, we're pretty much guaranteed this trophy. And so Madrid are top of the table still, 3 or 4 points ahead of us if I'm not mistaken. But Fermin here makes the difference again, like he did in the Copa del Rey, not the Copa del Rey final, the SuperCopa final. He scored the first goal for us in that one. And he scores again. And what a player he is in this team. We're proving that he is the guy. We made the right decision by letting go of Dani Olmo, and Arsenal bring him in. That's going to be a big issue for us when we do come across Arsenal, but not straight away. Valverde, Garcia, oh, he missed. Oh my God. I can bring on Son. Oh no, Araujo's beaten. Just Kunde. One inside Araujo, can't make the block. Cielo does make the save. Great play. Alvarez is through. Rudy's there though. And Alvarez, why did he turn facing? I wanted him to turn his back to him, hold him off, then turn and get the shot away. Here it is. And the ball again here. Ball forward, good play. Pedri, why did he turn facing at him at the tower? It's similar to what Yamal did. I wanted him to face away from him, put his back against the player, and then play the pass across. Here's Son though. Yildiz, why not? Yildiz blocked there by Valverde to Yamal. And that's the end of the game. It's a 1-0 victory. And we're through to the final. Well, if we win the second leg anyway, a 1-goal lead going into the second leg isn't the best, but and away from home to Bernabeu, but we should be able to get the victory with the players we have in the team. And hopefully we'll be through to the final. I wanted a 2 or 3 goal victory in this one, but we couldn't get more goals. We should have got more goals, but it is where it is in the end. We only managed 2 shots. because the game on many occasions stopped me from actually getting a shot away due to the way my players were moving and stuff like that. I wanted them to turn away from the defender, block the ball off and then shoot or play a pass, but they kept turning facing the defender and losing possession for some strange reason. But for me, the man of the match, deservedly so, and we beat Madrid here in the first leg of the Copa del Rey semi-finals. And well, that's going to call it for the end of today's video. We're going to start next episode off by taking Real Madrid on the Copa del Rey semi-final second leg here at the Bernabeu. 1-0 up in that one, as you can see. We're then also going to get into the Champions League latter stages if we take on AS Monaco here. And most likely going to sim this game up against Monaco, a team that we should be able to beat fairly comfortably in this one and get through to the latter stages of the Champions League. And hopefully maybe try and win in the Champions League this season. Obviously, Barcelona haven't won it since I believe 2015, so winning it again would be amazing for us in this series here. As you can see by the league table as well, we're currently in second place still, not too far behind Real Madrid, but they keep winning and we keep winning. I can see that we've drawn and lost one too many games though compared to them. And unfortunately, we most likely aren't going to win the league title this season because Madrid, if they keep at the pace they're going at, they're going to win the league title fairly easily. But Osasuna are a team that are massively, impressed me this season. They're fourth in the table. I didn't expect that to happen, but they are still fourth in the table this stage of the season. Obviously, they are a team we could be facing in the final of the Copa del Rey. But that's going to call it for this one. If you're going to enjoy the episode, drop a like and subscribe. And as you'll see, next episode we do have a player back from injury in Pablo Gavi, who is back from injury. So he's going to get some game time to show what he can do in the midfield role as well. And it's a big boost for us having him back into the team. Must do some big signings brought in. And that's of Son, who's gone down to -1. But he says like a player that we can bring off the bench and do well for us in the team. Yildiz as well coming into the team, as well as obviously other players like Araujo and also Julian Alvarez into the squad have been great players for us in this team right now. And like I said, that's going to call it for this one. You're going to enjoy it, drop a like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching and goodbye.